Yeah. Peace to the gods. You already know, man. Yo. Bohemian wizardry, you fraud them seeds to killing me. The enemy is close, we both lies on our identity. I feel like he who stepped, architect like Imhotep. Son had the sun himself, the God deadly with the art. I spit darts with a slit heart. You can feel it in your bone marrow before the shit starts. Standing in the cold with a scroll that was written in gold. Behold the old glimpse that was never untold. Infinite like the 8-7 dwelling in your melon. No felon, though the unrighteous say that I'm rebellious. I'm fine for my rhyme suicidal. I worship no idols. My style of all the gems going down in the spiral. You stuck in your room. My intelligence past my proof. The God is the truth. Every time I step in the booth, you step on the stoop. Got scoop to swoop to my loot. Do the knowledge, racking seeds, get played like flu. And it's the son of the star, a gift from the gods. The wind smile through the sky with golden rays. Submerged to the light, not everybody go to change with the scepter of justice. Melanin cultivating genes till we are rebellious, finally becoming one with the righteous sun. Solar, souls of law, magnificent glow, with unconditional love. Scattered rays today from the heavens above, soul below, the soul trapped in the lowest flesh of hell, incarnated into 76 trillion cells. To break free, we must be refined, masculine and feminine properties combined.
The devil's the author of confusion, 183,000 religions and religions. Denominations, sects, codes, schisms, and isms. There isn't a written in the Bible that Jesus spoke in parables. The scriptures and gospels aren't just historical. Many passages want me to be taken literal. Most of it is allegorical, based on esoteric principles. Baptist versus Methodist, Pentecostal holiness versus Jehovah's Witness, Mormons versus Seventh-day Adventists, skeptics, atheists, and agnostics, divine and cosmic Catholics of the reptilians, or fourth-dimensional aliens. So beware of the draconians, Satanists. Though their aim is to imprison on true beings through ignorance, though we crush the head of Leviathan. Babylon controls the rules, suggestions, brainwashing indoctrinations, using religious, politics, education, economics, health, and labor, entertainment of war, for sex and war, in this chessboard game, collecting all their pawns, puppets on strings controlled by demonic spawns. We can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. All right. We're gonna get started today. We're gonna go into some deeper information. Tonight's discussion is gonna be on winged Sundis Nibiru, right, or Nebiru, depends on how you want to say it. All right, and that's what we're gonna get into. So just hold on. You got some information to go through right quick.
Yo. Bohemian wizardry, you fraud.
Appreciate y'all coming on.
The enemy is close, we both lies on our identity. I feel like he who stepped, architect like Imhotep. Son had the sun himself, the God deadly with the art. I spit darts with a slit heart. You can feel it in your bone marrow before the shit starts. Standing in the cold with a scroll that was written in gold. Behold the old glimpse that was never untold. Infinite like the 8-7 dwelling in your melon. No felon, though the unrighteous say that I'm rebellious. I'm fine for my suicide.
This is my song. Me and my crew, the Nagas. Right, Fuquana Law from the famed groups Sonic and the Grave Diggers, as well as True Master, famed producer and rapper from the Wu-Tang Clan. Both told me that we need to do something with this song, so we making it our intro joint, all right, to these classes. All right, and for those that's interested in getting it, you can go to my website, dralimel-bey.com. Go to Dr. Alim's El-Bey's music, and you can get the information from there. It's $1, like the song's $1.99 or something. You know what I'm saying? So just check us out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Support. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, we recommend that you subscribe, like, comment, and if you can, super chat, because it goes towards
me getting more information out, and not having to depend on other people, you know, but really do the work in the community. First thing we want to start off with, of course, is the fact of what we got going on. We have some good things going on, and we definitely want to keep everybody in contact with that. All right. First thing, of course, is our online courses. All right. This is where we get into the actual application. All right. We get into the actual application. All right. Hopefully this ain't too loud in the background. We just having it rock. But our online classes will consist of, if you want a fuller understanding, go to the website, dralimel-bey.com, and you'll get on at Healing Wings Institute online classes, and you go there and you can find the agenda, the courses, how much they are, the Qigong, the Tai Chi, Reiki, reflexology, acupressure, Tantra Kriya Yoga, which is Kundalini Yoga, herbalism, iridology, spiritual life coach training. All of these classes are certified. You will get certifications for these classes. And there's other schools that deals with a lot of the same subjects, will also give you credit towards finishing their programs if you come through ours. Right, so, but you will get high information in which that we give you the science on even how to put together your businesses, your own business, so that you can continue practicing your art forms, right, or these energy modalities and these, you know, higher sciences. Right, this is the new way of doing the ancient mystery school. All right, the Egyptian ancient mystery schools. This is how we're doing it nowadays. We're doing it online. That's the technology. And so basically what we've been doing here is giving you the basics. All right, so when you come into the classes, we can take you straight into the application. You'll understand everything that we're talking about, because you done seen the videos, you done been on the channel, you done liked and subscribed and comment, you know. So that's what we plan on doing. So this is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. All right. And of course, we got our Healing Wings Institute 3-day event coming up September the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. 3 days of the most enlightening practical knowledge and actionable information on the planet. All right. For those that can't make it to the classes, well, come on down for the 3-day event, and you can learn the same thing and also get certified, like we said. All right. If you need more information, call us at 910-364-9099, or go to the website, dralimel-bey.com, calendar of events. All right. That's where you want to go to get more information. All right. Then, of course, we coming to South Carolina, September the 7th, 2018. It's going to be a Rotopian Bliss. All right. From 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be at 8502 or 8502 Two Notch Road, Suite 1, Columbia, South Carolina, 27223. Phone number is 803-518-8927. We suggesting $10 at the door, and I'll be talking on the occult science of the holy breath. That's what we're going to be building on, the occult science of the holy breath. This is going to be deep. We're not playing. All right, and we're going to get into some of the various exercises, meditations, techniques, Qigong, Tai Chi, Reiki, pranic healing, so that you can get the real gist of this science. All right, not just from a book and somebody quoting it to you or reciting it, but the actual science behind it. This is how you do it and why you do it and what it does. All right, you know, that's how we do. We take you to the final level. All right, it's like the we're like the dude who trained Bruce Leroy. Only there, Leroy, where you find the master. He take you all the way back to your goddamn self. All right, so that you will no longer be damned, but now free Willie, nigga, free. All right, you'll get free. Y'all, I don't know, y'all might remember that old school movie Free Willy. Well, shit, we gonna free your Willy. Willingly, we're gonna free you. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. So just remember that. That's how we do here on this channel. All right, Dr. Alim El-Bey TV, as they say. But here we also coming the same weekend, just the day after, we coming to Georgia. Georgia. All right, that's Ray Charles. Now that's old school. I know you don't know nothing about that. All right, but anyway, I know some of y'all might have seen the movie. All right, but here we coming to Decatur, Georgia. That's near the ATL, located at 2440 Wesley Chapel Road. That's Decatur, Georgia, 30035. Phone number 678-615-2547. September the 9th. 2018. So September the 7th, we're going to be in Columbia, South Carolina. September the 9th, we're going to be in Decatur, Georgia, hot Atlanta. We're going to be at the Moorish Medicine from 8 p.m. until, all right, shit, we might go until 12, all right? But we know that you got to go to work on that Monday. But shoot, we ain't going to keep you long, but we're going to definitely be strong, all right? So that's going to be a suggested donation of $10 at the door, and I will be speaking on Syrians and Anunnakians, the Nagas in Malkuth, the world of the making. Oh snap! That's definitely going to be on another level. We ain't playing with that one. All right, so we're gonna get into tonight's discussion. All right, and let's begin. All right, so here we have the 3 endocrine glands in the pineal gland. The 2 most recognized endocrine glands, besides for the hypothalamus gland, we have the pineal gland, which is the master gland of the physical body and of the endocrine gland system. Ductless gland that produces hormones, the hormones melatonin, serotonin, pinoline, and DMT. Then we have the pituitary gland, in which that produces HGH, human growth hormone. It is whitish in substance. The DMT is golden in substance, like honey. When the 2 come together, you in the land of milk and honey. This is the land of Canaan. This is the real Israel. Right? This is Ra, and El, right in your brain. Pituitary gland, pineal gland, hypothalamus gland. Is Ra, El. There it is. Right? This is where your Kundalini energy ascends to, because Israel means to ascend to God. God is your soul embedded inside of the pineal gland. So hence the ascension to God. Right? And there, as you see, the 3 stars point towards the third eye area, which is right above the discrimination center, which is the olfactory nerve, which is right in between the eyebrows, which is called the spear of Dorth on the Holy Kabbalah. All right, right above that is what we refer to as Kether, which symbolizes that third eye area right there, which symbolizes the star Sirius, the 3 stars over Orion's belt, or the pituitary gland, pineal gland, hypothalamus gland. The 3 glands in your brain point towards the third eye area, which is Sirius. And I'm serious. Remember, we always say, let's get serious, and let's get serious for your love. All right, that's old school. You don't know nothing about that. That's Jermaine Jackson. That's Michael Jackson's brother. All right, so that's what we are looking at right now. All right, is that science. So when one dreams, one's consciousness naturally shifts to the back of the head, which is towards the medulla oblongata area in the brain, hypothalamus, medulla oblongata, that area. There's more so that in case when you have a lucid dream, right? This is for when you have a lucid dream, right? To the back of the head. And one's reptilian brain stem, which is called the reticular activating formation, determines the depths of one's quantum realm dreams. All right. It is via one's lucid dreams one can contact another form of intelligence, while the ancient Egyptians considered it to be associated with Sirius. Oh, there it is. In essence, one's lucid dreams are one's personal Stargate. right? So the back of the head, which is symbolic to the medulla oblongata, correlates perfectly with the third eye area. Okay? That's what it correlates to. So as you see Orion symbolizes the Hafnag Gojik, what is called a state of trance, which is Osiris. And of course, Osiris means open eye, because iris is part of your eye. So Osiris, Os means open, iris means eye, open eye, right? That's what you're supposed to be doing, is open in your eye, your third eye, because when your eye be single, your whole body would be filled with light. So Orion, Osiris is a shaman, right? Then you have the eye star, which symbolizes Isis, all right? Also Sirius, all right? As it says here, the pineal gland in Phantom. The door, lucid dream shifts to the back of the head, which is the cerebellum, right above the medulla oblongata, or right near the medulla oblongata, right? Then you have the reticular activating formation, which is the reptilian portion of the brain. And right above the reptilian portion of the brain is the medulla oblongata, which leads you into that doorway, which is at the cerebellum, right? And there's two cerebellums. Then you have the earth, the one's own body, right? Then you have one's consciousness can shift towards and beyond the top of one's head, whereas one's spirit can fly as a hawk or Horus, Eru, which of course symbolizes what? Out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences, right? Which correlates to Kokab as well as Thuban. One's consciousness can shift towards the front of one's head, and this induces a OBE, out-of-body experience, ingress and egress into and out of the spirit world of the quantum dream. All right, now, all this is told to you in Luke 22:12, and he will show you a large furnished upper room. Make the preparations there. Right? So you're supposed to prepare there in the upper room. The upper room is your kingdom, your dome piece, your head. So Jesus said to them again, peace be unto you. And the Father has sent me, and I also send you. And he that said this, and as he said this, he breathed on them, right? He breathed on them and said to them, receive ye the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven, or forgive them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained. This is John 20:21-23. So notice as he breathes in into the discrimination center, activating the olfactory nerve, which is one of the 12 pair of cranial nerves that we went over last night, into the pineal gland entranceway, which is the third eye area, which is over top of there, all right? And then as you see, you bring the energy back down, and then you breathe out your mouth. Then that means that you're bringing star energy down, and you are making others receive this energy, all right, which is this Holy Spirit, this holy breath. Spirit and breath is one and the same, as we told you before, all right? So here we have Wichita, came from the ancient Temerian word Washita, which means symbol of the winged sun disk, Washita, or Washet. Right now, you go to the Book of the Dead, right? Misnomer that by E.A. Wallace Budge, and he tells you what Washet is, Washeta, Washita, Washet. He says was a form of Het Heru, Hathor, Hagar in the Bible, Abraham's wife in the Bible, and was identified with the appearance of the sky in the north when the sun rose. She is either depicted in the form of a woman having upon her head the crown of the north and a scepter round with a serpent is twined, or as a winged Uraeus wearing the crown of the north. She was the principal goddess of the town of Butu in the Delta. So the goddess Washet is serpent-headed. Serpent-headed. So this is talking about when the serpent goes into the head. This is the Kundalini as it goes up into the head, right? It makes its appearance in the sky in the North Pole, when the sun rose. Hence, it makes you have the golden sun disk around your head. You become Atan or Adonai, the Lord and Master. I self Lord and Master, right? The word Washita is derived from the ancient Sumerian word Washeta, right? From the immemorial, the symbol of the winged sun disk, Washeta, has been used to signify freedom and expansion, mind, soul, Ra, Atan. And in the Assyrian mysteries or mythology, Heru defeated Set by becoming Washeta, all right? Or the winged sun disk, the all-encompassing divinity. Thus, it was decreed by Jehuti, wisdom, that the Ursheta would be seen decorating every temple as the protection from evil. Right now, you can get this from the Assyrian resurrection myths, Hakau 176b. Right, so the Washita name is derived from the ancient Egyptian name. Remember, we went over that last night, that the Egyptians was already here in the Western Hemisphere over 50,000 years ago. Right, so the Washita are the ancient Egyptians, and the Empress says 85% of us are descendants or retired to the Washita Empire. And the Washita Empire is what we call the Kushite Empire, also called the Moroccan Empire, also called the Shanghai Malian Ghana Empire, right? Because we have all our brothers and sisters that came from Africa, as I told you last night, on 2,200 ships, 168 to 200 years before Columbus, before Amerigo Vespucci, before Cortez. And they mixed in with those so-called black people, Moors, that was already here, the so-called Indians that was already here. So it was impact of blacks upon blacks, Moors upon Moors. All right. We see a larger group of Orientals came a little bit earlier, which was around 1421. All right, earlier than Columbus, but after us, 1421. And they mixed in with us, and this is where you get the various statues of the Olmecs, the She people, and then the Olmecs and She people, also the so-called Nigerians. This is where the Shang dynasty, the first dynasty of China, that's who they were, with the Shang people. They mixed in with another group of Africans that came out the interior of Africa, known by the name of the San people, who look like the Orientals today, except you know that they melanated. All right? And some came back in and went back into Africa. All right? But there's some that came over here along with who was known as the Olmecs. All right? And they was found, the Olmecs was, as we know, was found in South America, Central America, on up into North America, in particular of Mexico, in the place called La Venta, Tabasco. All right? The Yucatan Peninsula, near the Mexican Gulf, or the Gulf of Mexico as it is called. Right? This symbol of the winged disc, of the winged sun disc, or Washet, is found on the walls of the Sumerians. We know that the first Sumerians that came into Mesopotamia actually was the Egyptians, Sumerian people. All right. There's a still coming from the British Museum that shows you that these were Egyptians that came into the Mesopotamian. So when they try to say, oh, you know, they can't decide on, well, Mesopotamia was the Garden of Eden. Oh, no, it was Africa that was Garden of Eden. And they keep going back and forth and can't. It was the same people. So there's no need for bickering. They both started around the same time because they both came from Atlantis and from the mainland known as North America. Prior to that, within the Hawaiian Islands. Okay? So these are the same people just coming back home. That's all. Millions of years later, they came back home. Right? And all of them did not go. Some stayed here in the Americas. Okay? i.e., you and I. Okay? You are the same ones who built these 18 temples in the Grand Canyon and the mounds and temples and the pyramids in the Western Hemisphere. Okay? But here we have the Sumerian, Mesopotamian, Babylonian, Akkadian, these depictions of the same type of wing disc, except on theirs, they have a man coming out of it. All right? The man symbolizes the divine soul being awakened, and you activating and moving your ship around, all right, or being able to guide yourself through via ship. Now, all of this is symbolic. Go to Revelation, the 5th chapter, 1 through 14, talking about the lamb and the scroll. John looked and see the lamb in the middle of the throne scene. All right, the lamb looked as if it had been slain, and he had 7 horns and 7 eyes. Right, these 7 eyes are the 7 eyes of Allah, the 7 eyes of God. The horns represents the power of Jesus. The eyes represents the omniscience of the Spirit of God. All right, that's nothing more than the 7 churches and the 7 stars, which is talked about within the Holy Bible, Revelations 1 through 19. All right, the 7 stars, the 7 angels, 7 churches, the 7 chakras. All right, we know that. And then the third eye is the highest of those chakras, all right, which symbolizes the pineal gland, or right above the pineal gland, which you will see this symbol over and over again here, this flying sun disk. You will see this, right? Even on the walls, it shows you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys walking towards the eye of Ra. All right, that is Osiris. That is Set. The next is Amen. Next is Segmat. Next is Shu. Next is who we call, well, the pharaoh of the double crowns. That also would be a form of Amun, right? And then of course you see Heru, right, which is Horus. And then, of course, is the eye of Ra. And so these 7 are leading towards the activation of the eye. It look like they're walking up stairs, hence symbolic to the stairway to heaven. Right? This is what they're talking about. And so as that third eye symbolizes the pineal gland, which is called the lamb. The pituitary gland is called the third eye, essentially. So this is why you see the third eye correlating perfectly with the pituitary gland. Okay. But the pineal gland is called the lamb. This is why we talked about the lamb. The lamb and what? The lamb looked like it has been slain. Yes, the pineal gland looked like it's been slain because it's half asleep in the pineal gland, half asleep in the pineal gland. And it has 7 horns or 7 eyes, which are the 7 gods shown here, or what is known as your chakra system, the 7 churches, the 7 seals, and those 7 seals must be open. All right, so here we have Old Testament, Genesis 32:30, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, as in pineal. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and it halted upon his thigh, hence his lower self, or pineal gland, the head of the penis. In other words, whatever was going on, Jacob's name changed from supplanter. That's what Jacob's name means in Hebrew, is supplanter, into Israel, which means to ascend to God. How did he ascend? He ascended just like these 7 gods ascend to the god Ra, right? It's the stairway to heaven, and stairway to heaven, step by step. God damn it, it's step by step. And those steps are your what? Your 33 vertebrates. Jesus died at the age of 33. Freemasonry and Scottish rites have 33 degrees. And you must go up step by step. This is an actual photo inside of the human brain. The cells of the brain was magnified to the equivalent size of a car. The electromagnetic galaxy-like cloud in the center is the eye of Horus, the eye of Osir, the eye of Christ, or Jesus, the eye of Buddha, the eye of Shiva, the eye of Uriel, or Lucifer. It is inside the brain in a fluid-filled space called the third ventricle. The eye of Horus, or Heru, is alive, active, and floats above the pineal gland, and it influences melanin and the spirit world unseen. This is the internal Nibiru that correlates to the external Sirius C Nibiru. All right, this is what we're talking about. All right, so Nibiru, we know, is taken from the Egyptian word Neb-Heru, which means the Lord of Faces. Why? Because just like the owl, that third eye can turn around his head in a 360 degrees. So hence, the Lord of Faces means that you can also see the faces from all directions. In other words, you can see God from all directions. Remember, it just said here that I have seen God face to face. And where was this at? Jacob called the place, the name of the place, Pineal. But he's seen God face to face. So the Lord of Faces is Neb-Heru, the name of one of the 42 judges in the Hall of Osir. Right? Remember, all thoughts of energy activate the pineal gland. The soul traveling the astral planes. The soul, all right, which symbolizes Enlil, left brain, pineal, Anu, Inky, right brain. Right? The doorway to El, the stairway to heaven, y'all. There it is. And step by step. Right? These 12 stones symbolize the 12 pair of cranial nerves that sits around the pineal glands we told you about. All right? We told you about that. Oh, yeah, we told you about that. All right? And here they are. All right? Sardius, Reuben, Seah's son, Topaz, Simeon, Herd, Emerald, Levi, Attach, Carbuncle, Judah, Praise, Sapphire, Dan, he who judges, Diamond, Nefertiti, that struggles or fight, Opal, Gad, a band or troop, Agate, Asher, which is also Happy, right? And matter of fact, one of Osir's other forms is Happy, right? Amethyst, Issachar, Higher, Wages, right? Chrysolite, Zebulon, Dwelling, Habitation, Onyx, Joseph, he will add, Jasper, Benjamin, son of the right hand, right? These are the 12 stones on the breastplate of the high priest, Levi, right? Remember, the lamb, pineal gland is the lamb. The sustainer of this realm is the pineal gland, the lamb. And he is surrounded by his 12 disciples, or 12 convolutions of the brain, or the 12 spiritual centers in the brain that relates to the 12 major pair of cranial nerves, which passes under the surface of the brain through the opening of the cranius to reach the organs in the man's bodies. God almighty knows. You are the Bible. Basic instructions before leaving earth. You are basic instructions before leaving earth. There's no doubt about it. Keep showing you this over and over again. And this is what we want to relate to you here on this channel, for there's so much information. misinformation and disinformation on YouTube. And most of the shit is bullshit because it has no relevance to you and what you need to be doing for yourself. If you can't relate spaceships back to your physical body or aliens back to yourself, then what's the point of knowing about it? That's just like you knowing about Moses splitting the Red Sea 4,000 years ago. You wasn't there, but you read the book, and so you believe it wholeheartedly. When the shit is esoteric, Moses didn't exist except as a form of Akhenaten. Sargon the First. This was the same Moses that you're talking about. The story of Moses being sealed in a basket with slime and sent down the river, that shit was 1,000 years older than the Moses story. That shit came from out of Akkadian. It was in Akkadian mythology under Sargon the First. He said that that's what happened with him when he was born, and that was 1,000 years before the Moses story. Okay, Akhenaten, the 10 commandments came from the 42 commandments of the 147 negative confessions of Mayat, told to us by Akhenaten, Untitled, who would be Thutmose the Sixth. All right, not just Amenhotep the Third, the fourth, who is the son of Amenhotep the Third, who also wrote Psalms or hymns. So Akhenaten the Third becomes David or Dawid or Dawood, and Akhenaten, Untitled, who is also called Amenhotep the Third, who would have been also Thutmose the Sixth, Moses, your Moses. All right, as we know that Thutmose the Third also correlates to the storyline of Moses, who would have been the great-great-grandfather of Akhenaten. You see, this is the nonsense that you've been taught. And see, we can break it down once you study science, mythology, history, real history, that is, esoteric sciences, metaphysics, the occult. So we find that the same eye that Jesus spoke about, let your eye be single so that your whole body would be filled with light. We find the same information in Hebrew, in the Holy Kabbalah. Matter of fact, Ayin is for eye. And if you check the Arabic and Hebrew, the 16th and 18th letter of Arabic and Hebrew, you will find that is Ayin. And Ayin within Hebrew means nothing. Ein Sof means limitless nothing. Ein Sofi means limitless light. This is the 3 stages of darkness. All right? The 3 stages of darkness, or the triple state of black. All right? This correlates to the first trimester, second trimester, and the third trimester within the woman's womb of making you is in darkness. Darkness. Just like Rick James when he seen Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. Darkness. You was in darkness. Yes, you was. All right, so here it is. Ein Sof, Ein Sofi Nothing, nothingness, limitless nothingness, limitless light of nothingness. All right. And it all starts with the Ein. Ein is the eye. So what helped activate the eye? Well, we find that the primary function of DNA is electromagnetic reception and transmission. Less than 10% of the DNA functions involve protein manufacture. More than 90% function of the realm of check this out now. More than 90% of your DNA functions at the realm of bioacoustics and bioelectric signaling. This is what Dr. Lynn Horowitz says. So DNA is a nitrogenous base, all right, phosphate. How can it determine what region of the earth you are from? Well, nucleic acid or polymers of individual nucleotides No monomers. Each nucleotide is composed of 3 parts: a 5-carbon sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. DNA contains oxyribonucleic ribose nucleic ties or ribonucleic acid, while RNA contains ribose nucleotides. All right. So DNA is, of course, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is ribose nucleic acid. All right. So it says that 90% of the DNA is in the realm of bioacoustics. So that means words. Words are the vehicles for the manifestation of thoughts in the realm of matter. They focus and carry with them the vibratory strength and energy of the thinker who forms them. To voice thought is to actively construct and build the bridge of an inherent awareness of the external realm of infinity and supreme consciousness. This is why it says Dr. Bruce Lipton says 1/3 of all healing occurs without anything other than having a positive thought. Just having positive thoughts. In fact, not only do it heal you, it can transform your body into the body of light called the rainbow body. If you was able to do it for 13 to 60 years. You have what is called epigenetics. We're not controlled by genes like computers, programs, or controlled by code. This is a fallacy propagated by Darwinists, all right, base scientism for almost 2 centuries. Genes are biological tendency for expression. Changing our state of consciousness can influence and even change completely the tendency for expression. When we do this, our code can actually be rewritten and a different manifestation can be expressed. So we are not the code, we are the writers of the code. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief, promotes the idea that genes and DNA can be manipulated by a person's belief. A Russian biophysicist by the name of Piotr Georgiev, research reveals that DNA can be reprogrammed by words and frequencies, opening up a whole new arena in medicine. The experiment proved that one can use words and sentences to influence DNA. This explains how the body can be programmed by language, words, and thoughts, indicating that the human language are actually a reflection of our DNA. The scientist also proves the use of frequencies can repair chromosome damage by reprogramming DNA, and found the genetic code follows the same rules of all our human languages. So we've been telling you the science of words, power of the vowels, and how mantras, dikkas, affirmations, prayers, decrees can all help you heal. Can all help you heal. All right? The sound for the breath is shoo. Shu, S-H-U, is the ancient Kemetic word for the personification of air. That is the nature, God for air. Air is sound. Sound or words, and frequencies, in which that helps open up a whole new arena in medicine. A whole new scientific research is being done now on how words can change your state of consciousness and influence your DNA expression. These are the codes, right? Ain is the 16th and 18th letter in Hebrew and in Arabic. Ain is taken from, in Hebrew, is taken from the Egyptian text. You have the Proto-Canaanite Sinaitic letter assignment. And you have Ain here, which is Omicron, which also Ain equals Anu. Anu is the eye. So Anu, when they talk about the God up there, the nature up there, Anu. Anu means on high. That's what Anu means, on high. So what's on high? Your eye is on high, inside of the Holy of Holies, which is your crown chakra, your head area, your kingdom, your dome piece. What vibrates that area? It's the Ain, but it's also the Om sound. Amen. Is the sacred sound in the name of consciousness. It's the spiritual icon in Hindu religion, but it's found as the name of Allah. Is found as your genitals. Okay. Brother A. Rashid broke this down in his books. The breast symbolizes that Om sound. The buttock symbolizes the Om sound. The testicles with the penis symbolizes that Om sound. That is the Om sound. Your body is formed based on the Om sound. The mirror reflection of converting it to the 786. And if you want to know how to get 786, well, look at the letters. Symbolizes that Ain sound. Right? Professor Kenneth Moore, or Keith Moore, one of the most found embryology scientists in the world, says that the embryo moves from one developing stage to another inside 3 veils that were mentioned in the Holy Quran, as God say, in 3 veils of darkness. The 3 veils of darkness may be referred to as the interior abdominal wall, the uterine wall, and the amniotic, the chorionic membrane. It says, Holy Quran, Surah 39, He creates you in the womb of your mothers, created after creation, until within 3 darknesses. This is triple stage darkness, right? So the Om sound help awakens your bodily rhythms and frequencies. And this mantra is found in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. In Hinduism, Om is one of the most important spiritual symbols, right? Pratima, it refers to Atman, which is the soul, self within, and Brahma, the ultimate reality, entirety of the universe, truth, divine, supreme spirit, cosmic principles, and knowledge. Ain is the highest and first of the veils. It is literally translated as nothing, or simply no. It is absolute emptiness, the absence or opposite of existence. All right, complete absence. Ein Sof is the middle of the 3 veils, and it proceeds from Ein by necessity. It is literally translated as no limit production. All right, y'all know who that is. That's old school too. That's Master P. Sound like you're taking a shit. All right, but if that is nothing, then there is no boundaries or limitations. That is the limitless foundation, the eternal in the purest sense. Ein Sofi is the lower veil, situated closer to the tree of life, and it proceeds from Ein Sof as a necessity. It means limitless or eternal light without any limitations All things happen by virtue of the fact that this is no reason why they shouldn't. Light plays a very important role in the philosophy and symbolism of Kabbalah, called the Zohar, and the Ein Sofi is that light. All right. Allah itself, created from the state of nothingness. Allah itself, created from the state of nothingness, or the omnipresent potentiality, a womb of triple darkness. This dark matter, state of nothingness, no particular thing, aim, or purpose, was all things simultaneously, zero, cipher. Allah, the universal mind, intangible intelligence, is absolute, all things. This absolute state is fundamentally composed of dark matter, the precursor to matter. Then you have black energy. Then you have melanin, which is in the visible spectrum. You symbolizes Ein Sofi You are that light. You symbolizes that third veil in physical manifestation. Okay. This is the undifferentiated substance of reality. This state of nothingness caused Allah to realize self. Therefore, nothing in activity created Allah, me. I, Allah, always was, always will be, and no birth record can be ascribed to me, Allah, the universal mind. This spark of electrical impulsion becomes self-realization. The origin of the universal mind, first thought as an intangible transmitter of the mind, combined with matter, becomes an intergalactic stargate. Right? Here it is. Ein, Om, same thing. The Ein symbol is nothing more than the same as the Om symbol. Ein is Om. Om is the sacred sound of consciousness. Om is everything. It is the source. It is the vibration. It is consciousness of the entire universe. This is why you think monks, the Buddhist monks, the Shinto monks, the Taoist monks, you think they just, the Buddhists, you think they just sit around chanting Om for nothing? Right? It talks about the unconscious state, deep sleep or death. Conscious state, being aware, experiencing life through the five senses. The dream state, you experience or you would without of the world without being fully awake or deep asleep. The Maya, illusion, preventing us from infinity or absolute consciousness cannot be expressed by a sound. Right? So when you chant Om, it is the no sound which Om takes you into, in which that is the infinity state. We taught you how to get there, one breath a minute for 72 minutes. So Matthew 6:22-23 says the light of the body is the eye. Ein, I, and new. If therefore the eye be single, the whole body would be filled with light. But if the eye be evil, the whole body shall be filled of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is the darkness? All right. Aina is Hebrew for the Egyptian word An, which is another name for Ra. So Anu is Ra. An is also called the city of the sun, which is Anu, An. All right. This sun is none other than the planet Sirius. Sirius is Greek. It means great sun. Sirius is the sun behind our sun. Anu equals the Negro in its original form, and it stands for divine Negroes. And those who came down to heaven from earth to earth from heaven. The Sirius star system is connected to the planet X, which is coming towards Earth, which is here now. It's called Nibiru. But the one that I'm concerned about and want to connect to is here, to the left, that hovers right above the pineal gland. That's how I'm gonna be able to see the one that's in the sky and commune with it. Sirius C as it comes by. Who are the Anu people? Was who we are. The Anu were the first or original people of this epoch of human history. As the original type 1 Homo sapien, their time of dominance extended from around 200,000 years ago to around 25,000 years ago. After this time, another form of man called Homo sapiens sapien, type 2, became principally dominant. In terms of stature, the Anu were a short or diminutive people standing around 4'3" inches in feet in height. Typically, they had roundish faces, very little body hair, and their skin was that of brownish, melanated hue. Later, populations of Anu built the beginnings of major cities and complex civilizations or societies. Their world comprised civilizations we have yet to fully understand. For instance, their first or last prodigy produced the earliest foundation of societies like the pre-dynastic Kemet, Egypt, Sumer, Elam, and the Chaldean of Mesopotamia, Angkor Wat, and the seminal Shang dynasty in Far East Asia, as well as societies throughout the Americas, Oceania, and the Pacific Islands. Towards the end of their reign, Anu people developed metal smelting, and this was some 30,000 years ago. Matter of fact, way before then. Because who you think did that vase, metallic vase that was found 600 million years ago in Dorchester, Massachusetts? Who you think smelted the metal 2.8 billion years ago in South Africa? Around this same time, they also created the concept of fishing using nets, evolving agriculture so that men did not have to wander. Originated various styles of art, crafts, architecture, and sciences, which later fueled the thematics and intellectual world of what we now know as modern empires. The Anu people did that. Who are the Anu people? They told you it was the small men. There they are, the small ones, right? Come out the best people, all right? The poor people, the misnomer pygmies. Those are the Anu people, all right? Here it is, line 3, Net and Nua, means of the city of the Anu peoples. And this is talking about right here. There was an image found in 1939, page 73. There's an image of Petrie. This is called the book, The Making of Egypt. The Making of Egypt, all right? And I go in and it says the Anu people, besides the type belonging to the north and east, there is the aboriginal race of the Anu or Anu people, written with 3 pillars and became a part of the historic inhabitants. The subject ramification to doubtfully, if you conclude, is a single pillar name, but looking for the Anu, all right, writings that the 3 pillars, we find that they occupy southern Egypt and Nubia. And the name is also applied in Syria, Sinai, and Libya, right? Sinai and Libya, right? And as to the southern Egyptians, we have the most essential documents, a portrait of a chief, Tarenecher. All right, there it is right there that you're looking at. Roughly modeled in the relief is a gray, green glaze fayence found in the early temple of Abydos. Preceding his name, his address is given to the earliest of visiting cards. Palace of the Anu in Hermon City, Tarenecher. Hermon was the name of the god of the Tuphium, right? 13 miles south of Luxor, Ermek, opposite of what was the place of Anu of the south, Anu Menti. The next place was the south was Anti. Anti. Oh, wow, that's where we get Ant from. And beyond that, Anti Sene. right? Auntie Sinead. So right here, it says, this civilization called Egypt is in the period of development for a long time. It was the cradle, the cycle of civilization, the longest in history, presumably lasted 10,000 years. This is a reasonable compromise between the long chronology based on the data provided by Manetho. And Manetho wasn't just talking about there in Egypt, but he took it all the way back into Atlantis and got damn it all into Lemuria. All right? Meaning that it also was included, the history was also included with those in America. So the Manetho, the last student of the ancient Egyptian mystery school of Anu at Alexandria. See, it's the ancient Egyptian school of Anu at Alexandria before it was invaded by Alexander the Great. So it wasn't at Alexandria then, was it? But it was the ancient Egyptian mystery school of Anu. And we talking about it, Luxor, Karnak, right? It was a place that began 17,000 BCE and a short chronology, 3100 BCE of the moderns. For the latter are obliged to admit that by 4,245 BCE, the Egyptians had already invented the calendar, which necessarily required the passage of thousands of years. All right, now you can go get that from The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Sheikh Anta Diop. In this chapter, I hope to demonstrate that the origin of the civilization of Egypt was Black African, specifically Ethiopian or Anu. You see that? Anu. They keep telling you over and over again, you thinking Anu is some goddamn mysterious guy from out of Mesopotamia that came off a goddamn spaceship and came down and, oh, they was the god that created, you know what I'm saying, Lulu and Ameliu, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was the Tamahu, the Pale Man. It's talking about you creating them, but you was not created. You are them, right? Now, some of you might have mixed in with your creation, some Frankenstein shit, but you know, but I mean, that's what happened. The history of blacks will remain suspended in air and cannot be written correctly until African historians dare connect it with the history of the Egypt. And that's what we're doing here. And see, that's why I can put holes and destroy those who try to debate subjects which they have no full knowledge of. Because just like I just took all that Anu shit from out of Mesopotamia, I showed you where it came from, Egypt. And who Anu is. You. You are the Anu people. You're the only ones that can have activation of this eye. 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 You're the only one that can do that. All right? The Egyptians are colonists sent out by the Ethiopians. Osiris, having been the leader of the colony, Osiris gathered together a great army. And this Osiris that they're talking about was a person who took on the name Osiris, who is known as Menes. The first dynastic king. All right? That's his name. He was Heru. And Heru's father was Osiris. And that was him. Gathered together a great army, intentions of visiting all the inhabited land and teaching the race of men how to cultivate. For he supposed that if he had made men give up the savagery and adopt a gentle manner of life, that he would receive immortal honors. They were the earliest and said the proof of this was clear, that they did not receive, that they was not arrive as immigrants, but as natives of the country, and therefore rightly as called Achitanis is almost universally accepted. That those who lived in the South are likely to be the first engendered the earth is obvious to all. They further write that it was among them that the people were first taught to honor the gods and offer sacrifices and arrange processions and festivals and perform other things by such people honor the divine. For this reason, Their pious is famous among men, and the sacrifice among the Ethiopians are believed to be particularly pleasant or pleasing to the divinity. That's Diodorus, the 1st century BC historian, Greek historian. Then you had these Anu, Ethiopians, were agricultural people, raising cattle on a large scale along the Nile, shutting themselves up in walled cities for defense purposes. To this people, we can attribute without fear or error the most ancient Egyptian books, the Book of the Dead, the text of the pyramids, consequently all the myths of religious teachings. I would add almost all the philosophical systems then known and still called Egyptian. They evidently knew the craft necessary for all civilization and were familiar with the tools those trade required. They knew how to use metal. They made the earliest attempts of writing. They were the whole Egyptian tradition attributes to art to Thoth, which is Tahuti, right? The great Hermes. And Anu, like Osar, see? Anu, like Osar. Osar also was Anu, as you see here, is called Anion. Anion, a chapter 15 in the book of the dead and the text of the pyramids. Certainly the people already knew the principal art. It left proof of this in the agriculture of the temple of Abydos, especially the temples of Osiris, Osar. And this sepulchres or objects have been found bearing the unmistakable stamp of their origin, such as carved ivory in all those cities, Ant, Anu, Menti, Anti, Antnet, Sinek, today called Inesh, Eshni, Ermet, Kush, and Heliopolis have the characteristic symbols which serve to denote the name Anu. This is by Abby Emilianu, 1850 to 1916. So you ain't got to believe me. They telling you all of this. Here's some more information on the Anu people. In 9,600 BCE, the Bongo, Kango, Ifa, oh, you see where Congo come from, right? Kango. Anyway, Akan and Twa. They are who? The Anu people lives in the forest at the foot of Baba Teba, the mountains of the moon. Right? This is Mount Ruwenzori, east of Lake Kivu, which is in Rwanda. The Anu said that at the beginning there was Ilama, supreme being, Tahu, sacred tree, and Tahuti, moon god, on Baba Tiba, mountain of moon. The Anu gathered fruit, nuts, and plants. Some Anu moved northeast to Baba Tiba, Shaluk, in Nur, Sudan, and the Anu right, of the Taseti and Tanesian, which is Ethiopia, right? Ilu, Babur, Ethiopia. You have Ori of the Anu. Ori Anu is listed in the Ethiopian records as the first Nagai, Nagis. You get it? So Anu was listed as the first nigga. 4,530 BCE. The first calendar date of the Sidereal, first known calendar, started around 4,241 BC with the Hilligate rising of the Sirius star. The first alphabet appeared around 4,100 BC. Right, this is what it said, but of course we know that it goes back much earlier than this, but this is what they have convinced in academia. And those who study academia normally goes with this, but they need to start further expressing real research and go further out. If you're not reading Forbidden Archaeology, Human Devolution, Forbidden Archaeology, or the Hidden History of the Human Race, you're not reading much. You're not reading what you need to be reading, because these individuals help you go outside the bounds of academia and show you the real connecting points of how long we've been here upon planet Earth. The Anu people lives in the highlands, study the stars, the moon, and the sun. However, using the drying up of the lakes, the Anu people develop a system of water navigation between the interconnecting lakes and rivers. That would explain the emergence of a well-organized civilization possessing knowledge of the celestial bodies, capable of navigation on the lakes, rivers, seas, and ocean of the earth, needing to know the circumference of the planet, right, the length of the year, the mean length of the earth orbit around the sun, the 25,120 or 28 year cycle of the equinox, the acceleration of the gravity and the speed of light in order to build the Sphinx, and the pyramid complex of Giza, which is Giza. Clear geological signs of rainwater weathering of the Sphinx indicate that it was constructed by the Anu people before the end of the rainy weather in the Nile Valley, River Valley. All right. So this is what we're talking about. So they are the serpent race, right? Known as the Cushites, who call themselves Aphist, or Ethiopians, meaning the nation of the serpent. For the Greek word ethos, for nation people, and Aphis, for Ethiophis, we evolved into Ethiopian. The nation of the Aphis was the nation of the moderate Somalian and Ethiopian. And as you see, Eritrea just recently came back into the fold, and everybody happy again in that area, and was called Ophir by the Greeks. And Aphis was serpent in Greek, and the serpent god they worshipped. Right? They knew the signs of Kundalini to the eye, the Kundalini to the third eye. By vocalizing these sounds, when relaxing, concentrating, and praying, the chakras are nurtured. Yet to fully develop them, one needs to work with the fire of the spinal column, known as Kundalini, or the Pentecostal fire. This is why the Pentecostal Holiness Church always talking about it feels like fire shut up in my bones. That fire is Kundalini. Right? They are the 7 most important glands. This is according to the Perfect Matrimony by Samuel Unwar. Right? So the 7 most important glands of the human organism constitute the 7 laboratories controlled by the laws of the triangle. What's the law of the triangle? This is the law of the triangles right there. Pituitary gland, pineal gland, hypothalamus gland. That's the triangle. The triangle right there that is over the top of the brain, that symbolizes that triangle. I'm just trying to show you put these keys together. All right, controlled by the law of the triangle. Each of these glands has an exponent in the chakras of the organism. Each one of the 7 chakras is located in the intimate correlation with the 7 churches of the spinal medulla. The 7 churches of the dorsal spine controls the 7 chakras of the grand sympathetic nervous system. The 7 churches become intensely active with the ascent of Kundalini along the medulla canal. The Kundalini dwells in the electrons. The sage meditate on it. Devotees adore it. And in homes where the perfect matrimony reigns, it works with practicality. The perfect matrimony. The 7 churches are within the microcosm and within the macrocosm. The 7 churches of the spinal medulla are united to the 7 chakras or plexus of the grand sympathetic nervous system by means of very fine nerves. The 7 churches are similar to the lotus flowers, which are suspended from the famous Nadi Shitra. Right? The canal of the Sushumna is within the medulla canal. The canal of the Nadi Shitra is within the canal of the Sushumna. The 7 beautiful or divine churches are suspended from this precious medulla canal. This is the Aquarian message. Right? So we find all of this information here. Okay, and that the pineal gland is the most wonderful of all glands. All right, here it is. The serpent displayed at the crown of the pharaoh indicate the awakening Uraeus. The spiraling of Kundalini up the spine, opening the 7 sealed chakras and the third eye, bringing forth self-realization and higher consciousness. So people ask me, well, Alim, you know, how long you been studying? And when I tell them since I was 9 and it's been 40 years, they like, oh shit, nigga, what the hell was you? Well, shit, what happened was that I seen a goddamn UFO hovered over top of my head about 100 and 150 yards over top of my head to the right of me. At 5, I tuned into another dimension and seen ghosts or individuals, so I knew that there was other dimensions off the bat at age 5, and I knew there was UFOs that you can tap into by way of various frequencies at age 9. So I told my mom, yo, get me the Time Life magazine books. I was living in Brooklyn at the time in Coney Island. I said, yo, mom, I need those books. All right. There was commercials out during the late 70s, early 80s, and my mom began to start ordering me the books. It was 78. You know what I'm saying? 78, 79. And she ordered me the books. And so since at the age of 9, I started studying metaphysical, esoteric information, all this shit that you don't get taught until normally you're a part of some secret society. I was already learning this shit at 9 years old. And also doing yoga and doing mantras and chanting Om already at 9. You know what I'm saying? Awakening Kundalini. All right, so, you know, I know that this shit is real because I felt it. Right? So this is what you have to come to the realization of. You have to feel it. For those that don't feel it, then obviously the pineal gland is calcified, and I give you a tone in which that helps to decalcify it. It's the tho sound. Tho. THOH. Work on that shit. Activate the pineal gland because it's most wonderful of all the glands. It's a small, dark red, acorn-shaped body, weighed about 2 grains. It lies on the posterior side of the thalamus, which in a mass of gray matter at the base of the brain, projected into and bound in the 3rd ventricle. Now, this right here, the amazing pineal gland comes from Hilton Hotima, all right, the magic temple. The pineal gland is attached to the thalamus by delicate nerves and joined to the root of the 3rd ventricle by a flattened stalk. Right, the hypernula. It is composed and part of nervous cells containing a pigment similar to that of the cells of the retina, in other words, melanin, which is an expression of the optic nerve. Right, and this supporting the assertion of the ancient magi that its basic function was that of spiritual vision. It is pictured as magic, all seeing eye. So your all seeing eye, the magic. You want to do magic. This is why Panic talk about magic so damn much, is because he's trying to tell you you need to activate the all-seeing eye. And the Bible says, if the eye be single light, Matthew 6:22. We read that already. So the pineal gland was mentioned in this ancient scroll of the Cyclops and 3rd eye. In Greek mythology, the Cyclops was a race of giants, having but mental giants, that is, but one circular eye in the midst of the forehead. You see the ancient Egyptians with that eye there. You see the son of Ra pulsate the pineal gland, as you see here at the top of the head. Right, the Indian people wear the dot, the red dot, which is the same dot which they don't tell you comes from out of ancient Egypt, which symbolizes the serpent displayed on the crown of the pharaohs, indicating the awakening of the Uraeus and the spiraling of the Kundalini up the spine, opening the 7 chakras. The 7 sealed chakras in the 3rd eye, bringing forth self-realization and higher consciousness. Menza. All right, so this is what we're trying to do. The pineal gland was mentioned. The vibratory rate of the force emanating from the pineal is beyond the rate of vibration that are capable of being registered by any mechanical instrument so far produced by science, and has been estimated to be in the billions of cycles per second. Yes, it's 77 billions of billions cycles per second. I just told you the science. Hilton Otimba didn't know it then, but we know it now. See, this is what happens when you have teachers. You can fill this shit in. The fluid of the pineal gland and pituitary gland flows down the tiny canal of the spinal cord, all right, which is spoken of as Jordan, right, in the Bible. Then you have the the solar plexus, symbolic to the Sea of Galilee. All right, this is where the fish comes forth from, which is the seed in which that the Kundalini must raise up. And this becomes the image of the Black Madonna in Christ as it raises up back to the pineal gland. All right. This is the signs. The beginning body form start to pick up the chromosomes, genetics, glands start to form, and the next one is the pineal gland. And you are nowhere in sight. A living body is being developed, and you are not in that body yet. When the time is right and the pineal gland is formed, this body begins created inside of your mother, can now be penetrated by light, which descends from above on an angle. Hence, from above on an angle is talking about the soul, the solar Ra, an angle of light, hence your angelical form. You are an angel in human form. You are a thought of Allah. What is a human being? A thought of Allah. What is an angel? A thought of Allah, God in flesh. That's what a prophet is. That's what a man is. That's what an angel is. All the thoughts of Allah. So from above on an angle of light, a proper angle of light is how the soul becomes rested, because it's through your mother's pineal gland. One's light particles finds another pineal and it enters and nests. Right? The body is now animated and will begin to develop on its own energy. You are now alive. Okay? This is what scientists are trying to talk about, but by the time that they try to do abortions, this is way past that period of the soul coming into the body. The pineal gland is already being formed. All right? Within the first 7 days. The light particle that forms the baby's pineal is not unlike the sperm that forms the egg. Right? That found the egg, excuse me, is not unlike the sperm that found the egg. Now the question is, are you the light that came into the baby's body, or are you the body that the light came into? Consider a light bulb. The bulb burns out. You throw the bulb away. You can also, but you also throw the light away with the bulb. Or is it only the bulb that goes into the garbage? Of course, the light does not go into the bulb. When the bulb burns out, where did the light go? Using that logic, it is reasonable to consider that you are not the body or the bulb that the light entered, but the light that entered the body. But had you missed by a few degrees, you may have been found in a cave with a baby, being a baby bear. Oh, okay. Like, this is what they're talking about as far as incarnation, according to the Hindu information. All right. So it's reasonable to consider that you are not your body, but that the light entered, but the light that entered the body. So you're the light that entered the body. You're not the body that the light entered. All right. This is the pyramid and the Sphinx. Right. As you see on the back of the dollar bill, the ancient symbol of the pyramid in the place of the third eye, that is reference to the pineal gland in the brain. Genesis 32:30. Jacob said, I have seen God face to face, and I would call the place pineal. So actually the pyramid is a physical symbol of the human brain. Both the king chambers, which represents the pineal gland, the queen chambers, which represents the pituitary gland, are placed in the pyramid in the same position as they are placed in the brain. The pituitary gland secretes the milky white fluid, which is called growth, HGH, human growth hormone. And the pineal gland secretes the golden yellowish fluid, which becomes the Bible reference to the land flowing with milk and honey, as I told you, the land of Canaan. Entrance into the holy place. Now, this is once again, Hilton Hotima, he dropping this shit on you. All right? Entrance into the holy place of the mind pyramid is made through the Sphinx. The Sphinx is the face of the woman and the body of the lion, Segmat. In the book of Exodus, God tells Moses, I will meet you with between the wings of the cherubim, which is between the eyebrows. In other words, the pineal gland. This is where he meets you at, right there. Where the snake's at, right there. Oh yeah. And that's where he's gonna meet you at. No doubt about it. That's the meeting place. That's where you're gonna meet your God at. Your Lord and personal Savior. Hallelujah. There it is. Yeah. Right? There go the pyramid. There it is. Right? Just gotta keep taking you back before you can get these pieces. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta make this shit clear. We gotta make it clear for a nigga. All right, we got to make it clear. All right, so right here. All right, so in Ezekiel, the cherubim is shown as having the face of a lion, spirit, and the face of the man, intelligent or intellect. Thus, God promised to meet us in the inner recesses of the mind in the place of the pineal and pituitary gland, or the land flowing with milk and honey, which guides us to the right side. In other words, the right hemisphere of the brain. Entrance to this holy place is at the Sphinx, or the place of the lion, spirit of man, intellect. Thus, the Sphinx and pyramid are representations of the narrow way to Christ that few find, the kingdom within. That's the kingdom within. You see it? Yeah, that's it right there, goddammit. That's it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it right there, goddammit. Yeah, that's it right there. And if you need to, you can take some of these goddamn mushrooms in order to help with you. Oftentimes, you'll find these mushrooms, amanita, mascara mushrooms. You'll find these in the pastures where cows take shit at it and then it rains and they grow up from out of that. All right, and you get psilocybin. Psilocybin is the shit in which that helps you manufacture DMT. Right, that's the mushroom, the shrooms. Right, cubanus. Right, cubanus mushrooms. So it helps you filling that melanin, make that melanin a superconductor to transform electromagnetic energy. That's what it does, right? Dr. Frank Barr says, theory states that matter is shaped and structured by light, right? These molecular melanin combinations eat light in order to maintain, expand, and evolve matter. The more highly evolved the species, the more complex its biological capacity to use light. Right? That's what it is. There it is. The eye of Shiva is we talking about. The pineal gland is the prophet. I know we love talking about other people being the prophet. The only reason why they became the prophet is because they activated the pineal gland. But you're so busy looking outside of yourself for a motherfucking name of prophet that you forget that you yourself can be a prophet. Activate your pineal gland. Activate your pineal gland. The pineal gland is also called the pineal body. All right. The epiphysis cerebri, the epiphysis or the third eye, is a small endocrine gland in the vertebrate brain. It produces the serotonin, derivative melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulator of wake, sleep patterns, and seasonal functions. Its shape resembles a tiny pine cone, hence its name. There it is. They go the pine cone, the pineal, the pineal gland, whatever you want to call it. And it's located near the center of the brain, between the two hemispheres, between the two cerebrums, the two cherubims, tucked in a groove where the two round thalamic bodies join. That is Kephra, or Kepri, is the two thalamic bodies joined. All right. The third eye senses the mind is referred to the abilities of RG prophet to be creative and see through problems to find the root issue. When your third eye is activated, you are the prophet. The word prophet just means one who can see. You now are able to see because the third eye symbolizes that eye or that epiphysis, the epiphysis cerebri. Right? That is the real Osiris that I knew. So not only are you a prophet, you are the God and knew the nature, the force of nature, Osiris, Isis, All right, Osiris means open eye, the third eye. Melatonin is inhibited by light and stimulated by darkness. This is reference to RG prophet ability to flourish under pressure in spiritual darkness, being a balance agent during the time of light dark. It is located between the two hemispheres, which we reference to the ability of RH prophet to the diplomatic when mature, not only seeing truth and error, but also bringing two disagreeing sides into unity and balance. That's your lower self and higher self. Also seems the reference to RG prophet ability to bring unity between male and female, right, left brain people. This gland is both central and hidden, also small. It seems that the reference to calling of RG prophet to have key central understanding of God's plan. Although to avoid pride, being willing to be a small, very useful niche part of the body, as well as staying hidden when needed. This physical body is the kingdom wherein lives the man. He that defileth the temple, he will the Father destroy. Eventually, the law of disintegration will reach the lily and the house fall down. The physical body is made up of the 12 cell salts and the 12 minerals. As man goes along wasting his substance, which is his life force energy, his seed, his semen, sperm, in riotous living, his blood becomes thinner and thinner, and the first thing you know, the blood is unable to carry its minerals and deposit them there in the pineal gland. Doctors examine the pineal gland of people and find them filled with sand. This is the sand man. Sand man, shit, that's the sand man. All right, that's David Chappelle, you know about him. What is the result of this sand? The house falls down because when the wind comes, it blows down because it was built on sand. The keeping of them is a great reward, and I shall be innocent of the great transgression. So here is the sand that they're talking about. The pineal gland is an actual eye that has 144,000 magnetic, crystal sand-like particles on it. The third eye also oscillates at 144 hertz. The ancient taught us that there was 144 chakras. The crown chakra is said to be 1,000 times more powerful than the lowest 6 chakras. So when you add up the lowest chakras, you get 4, your root chakra, 6, your navel chakra, 10, your solar plexus, 12, your heart chakra, 16, your throat chakra, 96, your third eye, or your forehead, brow chakra, and it equals 144. Now you take that 144 times 1,000, which is the crown chakra, you get 144,000. Hence, when you relieve yourself from karmic debt, self-judgment, you will emit the highest frequency of light, and will no longer have to return to this realm of form. This is the calcite, microcrystals in the human pineal gland. Calcite is a crystal, and this same shit is in your third eye. Calcite microcrystals. So you have to understand the science of energy, and all this movement, from the surging of this mighty ocean to the subtle movement concerning in our thoughts, has but one common cause. All this energy emanates from one single center, one single source, the sun. The sun is the spring that drives all. The sun maintains all human life and supplies all human energy. The sun does that. Here it is. We see what is called photosynthesis. Yes, photosynthesis. The plant chlorophyll and the human blood hemoglobin is identical, except at the center in the plants you have magnesium, and at our center we have iron. Other than that, it is identical. Dr. Phil Valentine and Dr. Malachi York told us 25 years ago that we used to have a greenish hue. We still have this greenish hue to this day. If you look at children's buttocks in this lower small back area or their back area, and you will see the green hue when they are born. We eat sunlight for energy. All right, we eat sunlight. This is what was said already. Frank Barr said that. Frank Barr said the more highly evolved species, the more complex its biological capacity to use light. All right? This is what it said. We eat light. Right? Right here. Let's look at that. He says the pineal gland is strongly related to light, and that the body built-in light meter responds to light levels by producing melatonin, which determines circadian or metabolic rhythm known as the third eye, and links next to the crown chakra, right on top of the head. He believed that the melanin and his brain counterpart, neuromelanin, is the key link between the mind and the body, or the mind and the brain. The pineal, hypothalamus, thalamus, and the pituitary gland comprises what is known as the third eye, the spiritual eye. They are the focal points called the sacred pyramid of the brain. That's what I've been talking about. All right, and the pineal gland helps us to overcome death by taking in external energies, combining them with sexual energy. But however, if you don't have enough sexual energy, then the forces, external forces, can't combine with it. And plus the original force that formed the physical body into existence to form what is called the immortal body, called the golden dragon body. This is what's supposed to be going on. We eat light for energy. Ancient people worshiped the sun, built pyramids, free energy, and had a lifespan of 1,000 years plus. But modern people were smarter. That is what they were, and what they worship: a man that they never met, pollute the waters that they have to drink, the air that they have to breathe, eat GMO food that they, GMO food that they got to eat, and they die very young. And as a result, have no respect for life, nor with nature. So who the fuck I supposed to be following? Modern people who claim that they smarter and don't know shit? Or I'm going to worship the sun like our ancient ancestors did. Because melanin eats sunlight for energy. Melanin is the physical manifestation of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. So that means that whenever you are, any light that is like you, your melanin is going to be able to pick up and relay it to your brain, because every granular of melanin is directly sitting on a nerve ending, because it is neuron, is the form of brain tissue. So if you happen to be jet black or you walk outside, there's a particular star that is up in the sky. The amount of light that is being pulsated from their particular star can actually hit your melanin granular, your nerves, when they relay that to your brain, and it makes an image. This is Jewel Pookrum. Dr. Jewel Pookrum is breaking this shit down to you. Reference again to the electromagnetic chart. I'm going to show you that chart in a second. It's clear that the doggons are able to perceive wavelength of information, distant stars that is outside of the European realm of comprehension. Now, you can get this information from her book, A to Z, Vitamins and Minerals, A to Z, Dr. Jewel Pookrum. The doggone use their bodies as X-ray films to record energetic images of the universe. And the universe is composed of energy. All right, information is transmitted from the form of light energy, whether it's TV, radio, infrared waves, or visible light spectrum. The black race is the only race, due to melanin, that is able to perceive the entire electromagnetic spectrum. This is why they're trying to F you up with GMO food, trying to mess you up with chemtrails in the sky made of aluminum, which is a forgetful agent. It causes Alzheimer's. All right, it make you senile, have dementia. All right, this is why I have fluoride in the water, which is also a forgetful agent used during World War II on the so-called Jewish people, converts into Judaism within the Jew or Judea or Jehuti teachings. Mysteries, which are the lesser mysteries. Your mental processes, brain power, are controlled by the same chemicals that give black humans their superior physical, athletic, rhythmic dancing abilities. This chemical is melanin. Carol Barnes. Get his book, Jazzy Melanin, by Carol Barnes. The abundance of melanin allows for messages to be passed from the brain to different parts of the body much more rapidly in blacks than to be that has been observed in other races. The remarkable capability of melanin highlights the most defined and influential differences among the races. As you see here, from electrical power, radio, TV, microwave, infrared, visible spectrum, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic rays, we can experience it all. Asians can only do from the lower portion of TV waves, microwave, infrared, visible spectrum, and ultraviolet. All right. The Europeans can only do the visible. This is why they can't believe too much in spiritual things. Plus, their pineal gland is calcified 60 to 80%, according to African Origin of Biological Psychiatry by Dr. Richard King. Their pineal gland is calcified. All right, 60 to 80% of them. All right, only 15 to 25% Asians. So therefore, their range can see a little bit more, much more. All right. Then you have Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, so forth and so on, in which that can see from what we call X-rays all up into radio waves. But the so-called black race Moors are the only ones who can actually see the whole gambit, the whole spectrum. The pineal gland, a terrible thing to waste. All right. Ultraviolet light processes in pineal gland. Ultraviolet light in the third eye only. Focus vision to one single point. Reprocess ultraviolet light directs by spirit manifests the man's sun. All right. This is the pineal gland. Remember, here it is. It looks like a pine cone. And so you have the same science all over the world, and they show you that science. The staff of Osiris with the pine cone. You see the Pope having the goddamn staff with the pine cone. You see the staff of Bacchus with the pine cone, the staff of Dionysus with the pine cone. You see the Assyrian deities with the pine cones in their hands. The largest pine cone statue in the world is in the Vatican. And the top of the pine cone is the same as the flower of life symbol. And then you see the temples of structure that's shaped like pine cones. You've seen these in Angkor Wat, right? And different other places throughout the Orient. So the pineal gland is the master gland in the body, is the center of the brain, is size of a pea, hence the size of the origin of the phrase pea brain. It excretes particular two substances, both precursors to melanin. Melatonin produced on the time of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Serotonin produced between 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Melanin is the key. It is dark matter, black energy in form. This is the glue that holds the universe together as well as our physical body. The pineal gland, when hit by the Kundalini Shakti force, the red dragon, it crystallized the pineal gland, throne of God, which is made up of 144,000 magnetic sand-like particles, transforming it into a crystal city, which is mentioned in the book of Revelations. In the occult, it is referred to as the Philosopher's Stone. The quickest way to activate the pineal gland is through Tantra Kriya Yoga, sex, proper sex, not just casual, don't throw that dick. Throw that dick, throw that dick. Now, you don't know nothing about that. That's Miami. That's Luke Skywalker back in the days, right? The brain is 90% water. Pineal gland is filled with water and floating crystals, approximately 144,000. These compressed piezochromatic crystals releases photons in all the colors of the rainbow, aura or auric field. These crystals are the pineal gland's photoreceptors and has retina tissue. Responds to light falling on it. Photoreceptors are special cells in the pineal gland, just like in the eye retinas, that are responsible for converting light into signals that are sent to the brain. So here you have the interior tissue that has pinealocytes. Pinealocytes is the same as we told you in the video before last, before that one, when we talked about melanocytes and pinealocytes. Pinealocytes or melanocytes has black hole properties. So just like rods and cones in the retinas, all right? So that means that this information is coming from another dimension down into you, right? And that energy light will be called right here, what is collected from the pinealocytes. You have what is called the piezochromism, right? The piezochromism. You have piezoelectric, luminous, and piezochromism. Chromism You have the bioluminescence reaction, which is from what is called luciferin to lucifers. All right, as you see here, this is where Lucifer comes in that, oxyluciferin. See, you thinking that it's some old spooky shit when it's talking about light. You become the light bearer, the light bringer. And you wonder why Lucifer was worshipped within Masonry, Freemasonry. Why the hell they lost this knowledge? Most Masons don't know this information I'm telling you. I know that. I've done had Grand Masters, all right? European Grand Masters of Masonic orders, OTO orders, right? And different other orders to contact me and told me that I know just as much as they do and never got initiated into none of that shit. And they was wondering how. How? Because the ancestors made sure that I came back to fulfill my responsibility on planet Earth. And it's to get this information out to you. I don't got nowhere to lead you but back to yourself. I don't got no cult to bring you into. All right? All right, that's for real. All right? I just want you to do better for yourself. I need for you to know who the fuck you are. Once and for all. But we can do away with this goddamn detrimental mindset that has been given to us by this Albion. And so you can knock his goddamn rock, knock his goddamn block off with this information when he come at you. And you can break this shit down and damn tear his ass, tear him a new asshole. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Big Daddy Kane said back in the days, put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. That's what happened. That's old school. You don't know nothing about that. That's old school. But anyway, the luciferins plus ATP, all right, and the luciferal andalate plus PP, all right, or luciferal andalate plus oxy-2, which is oxyluciferin, plus AMP plus light. All right, so ATP is high energy molecule found in every cell. That's what it is. It's adenosine, triphosphate, right? Triphosphate. All right, that's what it is. ATP. All right, for short, is the energy current of life. It's the high energy molecule found in the cells, 76 trillion cells. Its job is to store and supply cells when with needed energy. One molecule, all right? One molecule of ATP contains adenine, ribose, and 3 phosphate groups. Light is produced because the reaction forms oxyluciferin in an electronic excited state. The reaction releases a proton of light as oxyluciferin goes back to the ground state. A photon is the quantum of light in all other forms of electromagnetic radiation. It is the force carried for the electromagnetic force, even when static, via virtual photons. The effects of this force are easily observed at the microscopic and at the macroscopic levels because the photon has 0 rest mass. This allows long distance interactions. Like all elemental particles or elementary particles, photons, and currently best explained by quantum mechanics and inhibits wave particle duality, exhibiting properties of waves and of particles. Luciferal andalate can additionally participate in a side reaction with 0,2 to form hydrogen peroxide. All right. And dihydroluciferol, AMP. About 20% of the luciferol adylate intimately is oxidized in this pathway. The reaction catalyzed by bacterial luciferase is also an oxidative process. All right, FMNH2 plus O2 plus RCHO, right, to FMN plus RCOOH plus H2O plus light. Nearly all of the energy input into the reaction into transformed into light, the reaction is to 90% efficient. As a comparison, the incandescent light bulb only converts about 10% of the light into of its energy into light, and 150 lumen per watts LED converts 20% of input energy to visible light. Right? The firefly luciferase generates light from luciferin in a multi-step process. And this same multi-step process is the same process that you have to take in order to transform into light. And what helps with that is DMT. Right? The pineal gland and rats have recently been confirmed to secrete endogenous dimethyltryptamine or DMT, a powerful psychoactive chemical that exists in our brains as well as in most mammals and many plant species. The pineal gland is directly affected by sunlight and the magnetic fields trapped or by the light. And through the pineal gland, the metabolism of the body is regulated. Right? This is from DMT, the spirit molecule, by Rick Stratum, MD. This is him right here. But he talking about the crystalline piezoluminous DMT. There it is. Right? Calcification is the biggest problem for the pineal gland. Yes, it is for 60 to 80% Europeans, for 15 to 25% Asians, 5 to 15% so-called blacks, Africans. Fluoride. This is why they started giving you fluoride, because fluoride accumulates in the pineal gland more than any other gland or organ and leads to the formation of phosphorus crystals. As your pineal gland hardens due to crystal production, less melatonin is produced and regulation of your wake-sleep cycle gets disturbed. This is how many of you have problems now with insomnia. The pineal gland is too damn calcified. So the sound, as I told you, that you need to do is THOH. See, we know the shit here. We know how to do it and what to do. Right? So of course you'll stop drinking fluoride water, which is in most city municipalities, city water supply. You don't want to drink Deer Park. Deer Park has fluoride in it. If you're going to drink water, make sure that what we drink, I ain't gonna even say it on here because shit, the devil might damn fuck that up. That's what he do. But anyway, find some water other than Deer Park and Nestle water, and get away from the water that got salt in it. That there's water that they use that put salt and sodium in. Don't drink that shit, especially if you have high blood pressure or diabetes. That fucks you up even worse. All right, so don't drink none of that. Pineal gland and MCC, DNA activation and attunements. Endocrine gland located near the center of the brain between two hemispheres, 5 to 8 millimeters. Pineal cone shaped, involved in wake-sleep cycle, seat of the soul. This is what we told you about. Here's how a pineal gland looks when it's calcified / by fluorine. Fluoride does this shit right here. Get toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it. Right? Get mouthwash that doesn't have fluoride in it. This is necessary because this is your brain on drugs, goddammit. Fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, otherwise known as the third eye, which literally has rods and cones, just like your other eyes. This is your pineal gland, as we showed you, and this is your pineal gland on fluoride. This is your pineal gland on drugs. Fluoride. At the end of the 90s, the scientist Jennifer Luke realized that the first study of this evidence of sodium fluoride on the pineal gland. Further research carried out in other laboratories confirmed that it was highly highlighted from the beginning that the emphasis is like a magnet for the sodium fluoride, and it is part of the body that absorbs more of it, even compared to the bones. Moreover, the chemical compound accumulating in the pineal accelerate the process of calcification, blocking its fundamental functions. Blocking it. Get the book Astral Body and Other Astral Phenomenon by A.E. Powell. I won't go into that right now, but here it is. Get African Origin of Biological Psychiatry, the Eye of Heru, the Pineal Gland. Dr. Richard King, he speaks about the calcification of the Africans, 5 to 15%, Asians 20 to 25%, and Europeans 60 to 80%. I said 15 to 25%, but it's for Asians it's 20 to 25%. But even then, that means we can get along majority with the Asians. All right, but it's only about 20%, a little bit over 20% to 40% that we can get along with the European. All right, those are the ones in which that might survive this cataclysm, which only Balash Muhammad spoke of, in which that he said that there would be few Europeans in which that will survive. Well, they would be the ones with an uncalcified pineal gland, because they would have been the ones who have practiced Tantra, Kriya Yoga, heavy meditation, breathing exercises, all right, Qigong, Tai Chi, Reiki, pranic healing, all these energy modalities. So I don't damn any and everyone of the Caucasoid or Caucasian race, but we just have to state the facts. My people have to know this shit, because we've been lied to too motherfucking long. Favoro, Diavino, the pineal gland. Get this book, The Bright Connection Between Brain and Soul. Get this book. He says during the first 5 months of life, all right, and he's talking about here the emphasis solarless hormone production in the maximum level. It gradually decreases in the following the 12 years to arrive to half of the age of 45. Now, what is this hormone that he's talking about? This is the DMT. All right. By the time you get to puberty, it give you at the beginning, it give you doing something during the puberty, and then by the time that you begin to start dying, you know what I'm saying, it produces again. But this is also another hormone that is emitted, but it's at the age of 7 years old that it starts to calcify. The pineal gland starts to calcify at the age of 7 in these people. Process due to the deposit of minerals in the pineal that allows the pineal gland to be visible to X-rays. Here it is. There it is, right there. That's the X-ray of what they're talking about, and there go the calcification, right there in the center of the brain. There it is. There it is. All right, there it is. Okay. They're composed of calcium phosphate and calcium carbonate, which forms hydroxyapatite crystals and microcalcates, so-called pineal gland sand. All right, and these crystals has piezoelectric properties, able to transform vibrations into electrical impulses. The pineal gland is visible in the fetus at the 49th day, 7 weeks. All right, so after 7 days, the brain begins to start forming, and here it is by the 49th day, the 7th week, the pineal gland is visible, and it is at 49 is the time when the soul comes into body. This is what it says right here. Of pregnancy, which sexually differentiate characteristics of form. According to Tibetan traditions, this period coincides with the migration of the soul in the body. So this is why they said that before 49 days or 7 weeks, you can do the abortions. This is at least what it used to be, because the soul has not yet come into the body. So they say that the fetus is not yet alive, but the fetus does have a spirit at this time period. Best believe that. All right, best believe that. All right. So the ultraviolet light is the fire of the second rapture, burning evil from the earth. All right. This is Dr. Yaqub Seven Ali. All right. This is the picture that we're talking about here. This hovers over top of the brain, top of the brain. It looks like a UFO, but this is the planet of crossing. This is right here in the brain, and the Kundalini must cross the barrier from the pineal gland to reach up into it. And this is where we get the signs of beaming up Scotty, as I'll go over in a second. So here it is, your carbon-12 atoms, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, all right? And there's approximately 7E27, that's 27 zeros after the 7 atoms in your body. So that means that you are made of pure carbon, and 99.9999999% of your atoms are empty space. But yeah, it is carbon. So here it is, Ageless Body, Timeless Mind by Deepak Chopra. He tells you the same thing. Deepak Chopra elaborates on the perpetual shift by utilizing quantum physics as verification. Your body appears to be composed of solid matter that can be broken down into molecules and atoms. But quantum physicists tells us that every atom is more than 99.9999% empty space, and the subatomic particles moving in lightning speed through this space are actually bundles of vibrational or vibrating energy. These vibrations aren't random and meaningless. However, they carry information. So see, this is how we get information to us, y'all. All right. And see, you come down. So if your body are 75% water, and if your genes are oscillating crystalline structures, which read and interpret energy, and if we are 99.999% space, then how do you think that the energies within the human field are impacting our DNA? And more relative or relevant of all, our health. The human energy field directly informs our DNA and is directly responsible for the gene codes, our health, any illness or disease which may appear in the body, or even our intellect or intelligent memory and ability to heal is directly affected. All aspects of our lives are determined by the quality of our consciousness. All right, so we talked about this. Somebody going to write me some shit that they read from somebody else's website about 616 isn't stable. Of course not. You transforming your body from 666 to 616, which is from carbon 12 to carbon 7. You're not supposed to stay stable, dumbass. You know, it's not supposed to stay stable. Because you transforming. You transform from a so-called stable substance into an unstable substance so that you can make a transformation. Because carbon is condensed starlight, which is condensed universal blackness. Cosmic radiation, which is condensed infinite blackness of a light. Right? So there's a problem with people talking about this nonsense. Carbon 12 is supposed to be converted to carbon 7. DNA of carbon dominated people will change. Now, you don't want to change, then that's on you. Shut the hell up and get off my goddamn timeline with that bullshit. DNA is also an organic superconductor that can work at normal body temperatures, as opposed to artificial superconductors, which requires extremely low temperatures between minus 200 to minus 140 C's function. In addition, all superconductors are able to store light and thus information. This further explains how DNA can store information. Right? Photonic energy is light energy and is permeated from earth and waves. All right, this is what you're supposed to be taking in. All right, and this carbon 7 is the material equivalent to the Kundalini system, as well as the Metatron cube. Like iron has the ability to sustain in a magnetic field around it, carbon 7 has the uncanny ability to carry hyperdimensional fields, such as fields of thought around it. Thus, it can amplify thought in other hyperdimensional fields, just as iron and copper in a transformer can amplify magnetic fields. Naturally, it is formed in the brain of spiritual adepts. If you're not trying to become a spiritual adept, shut the fuck up. When they have out-of-body experiences, if you're not trying to have out-of-body experiences, shut the fuck up. You physically earthbound. Stay where you at with your calcified fucking pineal gland and shut the hell up on my tube, on my channel, on my line, right? Or perform other supernatural phenomena such as bilocation and materialism or materialization. During such times, the glow or halo that is formed around the head of these highly evolved beings is actually due to the excess neutrons produced within carbon 12 transmuted to carbon 7 inside the brain. That's the pineal gland of DMT. If you ain't trying to do this, shut the fuck up. And I know I wasn't cursing until now, but I got to get this out because people are trying to confuse people, and you're not going to do that on my timeline. You're not going to do that on my YouTube channel. Right? We're trying to, no matter what you want to call it, we're talking about transformation. So I don't care if you want to debate carbon 12, carbon 7. All right? You take that over there somewhere. You go to your own channel with that nonsense. And let's see how much you can get through as far as explaining this information. Because it's important to know that the melanin is charged and activated by the following forms of electromagnetic energy: sound, radio, TV waves, microwave, thermal radiation, heat, visible spectrum, light, X-rays, cosmic rays, ultraviolet light, and earth magnetic energy. All charge melanin and it causes to absorb energy. All charge melanin and is caused to charge and to absorb and to store energy and pass energy on to other cells in the body so that they can charge and rejuvenate themselves. This is from Vitamin Minerals from A to Z by Dr. Drew Pukram, MD. See, what we're doing here is trying to put all the information together that we've been studying over 30 some odd years span, and to make sense of the madness. I have not heard anyone, you know what I'm saying, put this information in a way in which they make sense to the people. This is why this is my purpose and what I'm trying to do here. But we can make sense of this. So we talked about the pinocytes or the pinealocytes, and then you have melanin or melanocytes, and these are carbon atoms that are linked to form melanin, which has black hole properties, which is found in space. Okay? So this is what we're talking about here. Get the book Dark Light Consciousness, Melanin, Serpent Power, and the Luminous Matrix of Reality by Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum. Get the Science of Melanin, Dispelling the Myths by Dr. Tim Owen Moore. Right, these are good friends of mine. Get the Unk book by Nur Unk Amin. Right, so this is what we're talking about. So the energy is transformed in Qigong, exists in 3 states like ice, water, and steam. The first state is called Qi. Taoists call it the single eternal power that moves the universe. They call it Qi. In Chinese, the word Qi means air, power, motion, light. All right, life. Accumulating or circulating large amount of Qi by itself, however, will not produce great benefits. Like gasoline in the engine, the Qi must be condensed and burnt to produce power. The name of this internal energy is Jin. It is the second state of energy that transforms to complete system of Qigong to become converted into Shin. All right, so from lower Dantian, mid Dantian to upper Dantian, from hell, heaven, from hell, earth to heaven. All right, the lower Dantian symbolizes hell. The mid Dantian symbolizes earth. The upper Dantian symbolizes heaven. So from materialization to Qi, subtle energy to subtle origin. All right. But we so damn, the reason why we making stupid ass comments because everybody don't resonate on the same frequency. And I understand that better than anyone, as I'm the one who put out the information concerning the different states of consciousness. But the problem is that if I'm trying to raise people up to a higher level consciousness, keep your pose. If you can't comment or make a suggestion as far as maybe a next video that I should do or something like that, please be quiet with that nonsense. And don't repeat somebody else's nonsense and think and act like it's yours and act like you're saying something deep. Because I already read that information before. And it's nonsense. There is a change in your body. And carbon 7 has to make sense because the book of Revelations keep talking about 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7 over and over and over and over and over and again. And we know melanin, which is carbon, responds to and absorbs light, sound in the form of music, electrical energy, and use the energy in the body as food and nutrients. That's what vitamin D is. Vitamin D is a hormone. It's food. It's nutrient. It converts light energy to sound and back again to light energy. Melanin has a direct relationship with light, heat, radiation, light, laser wave, radio waves, TV wave, magnetism, and electrical current. But most of the people are light starved. They light starved. You know what I'm saying? They have problems. You know what I'm saying? You don't get enough sunlight. Therefore, you know, I can understand why you're not making enough sense, because you don't want to become a Messiah. See, Messiah, a mess, a Moshe, Isu, or Kadesh, Christ, Christmas is the Egyptian word, which means burial. The burial of the lower self so that you can raise to your higher self. It's the murder of the lower self. What must a Muslim do? What must a Muslim do with the 4 devils? You got to murder the devil, the 4 devils. Murder them, burial. Jesus was called the Christ or Christ from the Greek Christos. The Christo came from the Kemetic Kadesh, the anointed one, the title of Tahudi in the Heru. As you see, Tahudi in Heru is the one who's doing the initiation. So you become Hiru Kahuti, the Messiah, the Mish Kahuti, Shu, Kadesh, Kahutahuti. Right? This is what we're talking about. The merging of the lower self and higher self, becoming the Messiah. And as you see, yes, women can also become Messiahs, as you see here. It ain't just the men. This is the son walking on water. Never was a hermaphroditic named Jesus. Right? But it was a person who was able to be transformed into a mortal body called the golden dragon body, because the carbon 12 transformed into carbon 7 in the brain of the spiritual adepts, as you see here. Right, this is the golden dragon of the what is called the Kung Long Nai Gong system. Kansun is activated, the Taoist golden dragon body. Kung Long system is the root of eternal alchemy spoken of by the mountain Taoists, the Egyptians, and many other mystery schools. Most importantly, it returns you to your original blueprint, a place of truth, stillness, awakening, and direct knowingness. Long held in secret, the times have come to share this practice with those of the heart and pure motivation. That's what this takes, which is the highest attainment in the Kung Lung Nai Gong system. So I'm not coming as a fake ass holy man to trick you, coming with a fucking robe and sandals on, talking all pious and shit. Oh yes, this is about God and let's get together. And I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm simply trying to bring you to light body. All right, I ain't coming here as no fake ass dude that you done got hooked up into over the years. That's the problem now. Y'all love these fake ass niggas on damn YouTube and shit. Just how they damn take your goddamn money. You don't see nothing there in production. The Tao is golden dragon body, similar to the Tibetan returnable rainbow body, and the diamond body. As my teacher had explained it, the golden body of light is one of the many names for the state achieved by a master who established in perfect union with God or the good. It is also called the rainbow body of light, the diamond body, the dragon body, and the body of Logos, among others. This achievement marks the unity of all the bodies of the magician with God. Most mystics are unified with God in consciousness, Gnostic, but they do not completely embody the light of good in all of their bodies. Henos. All right, if you don't know Gnostic and Henostic or Henostis, all right, Henostis, the magician is one who actually lower body are one with the physical, astral, mental body of the good, meaning the magician's mental body is as large as the universe, all 76 quintillion miles in diameter, as I told you, as well as his astral body. And his physical body is comprised so much of light that it is merely an illusion and is not physical matter at all anymore. This is you filling in the 99.99999% of empty space. You do that with prana, chi, ki, Holy Spirit, Kahuna Mana, Varel. This is the achievement of the golden body of light, the transmutation of the physical body into light. This is carbon 7 that we're talking about. All right, this is what we're talking about. the evolution of the Homo sapiens sapien into a Homo Christos. This is what we're talking about. When the three-dimensional biology is alchemically shift from carbon-12 matter into that of carbon-7. All right, multi-dimensional silicon crystal city, 6 electrons, 1 neutron, and 6 protons. Its structure is retained. So all of our cells must be transformed from carbon to crystal so that we can withstand the tremendous amount of light that will be streaming solar flares into the planet from our sun, acting as a magnifying glass from Sirius and the central sun, Alcyon now. Our crystalline light bodies would then convert the sunlight, ultraviolet light, directly into electricity. This is what will power us. We will require more light, less food. All right, this is what we're talking about. Becoming the children of the sun, the men of light. Get the book Sons of God, Krishna, Buddha, and Christ Unveiled by Ashara. Right? This is what they keep showing you over and over again. Right? And for those that don't understand, Ben Shamash means what? The son or the children of the son of the sun. The term belonged to a period when the Jews were divided into sun and moon worshipers. You had the Elites and the Beylites. The L's and the Bays. This is where the L's and the Bays come from for those that study. It don't come from the Turkish. Sorry. Once again, the Elites and the Beylites, this is Hebrew. Ben Shemesh. Elites and Beylites, the L's and the Bays. Symbolizes the sun and moon worshipers, the ones who study astrology, the ones who understand the science of Tahuti and Heru. Tahuti is the moon god. Heru is the sun god. This is the worshiping of the sun and the moon right here, what you're seeing. The initiation, what is called the ancient mysteries, called the Herbach, the light teachings, called the inner traditions. Also called Hakka, the sacred teachings of Tahuti, which is called the mastery of the lower self or lesser mysteries and the greater mysteries, the higher self, Heru. Altogether called the Semitawi, which is Islamism, the everlasting gospel, Moorish science, old time religion. That's what this is. See, there's so much nonsense that you can't put the pieces of the puzzle together. So as all this energy comes into the atmosphere, we take in our share. We're talking about 40,000 to 300,000 tons of stardust energy that comes into planet Earth daily. We're talking about the equivalent to the approximately 160 billion, 160 trillion. All right, megatons of TNT. In other words, intense. This is the energy that we're talking about. Okay. This is what we're talking about and how the decades have begun to warm up because more energy is coming to the planet. More energy, more solar flare activity and eruptions. Particles drawn to the poles and collide with the atmosphere, causing polar lights, what's called aurora borealis, the northern lights and southern lights. Billions of tons of super hot gases containing charged particles are bombarding the planet Earth. And you're supposed, as a melanated person, supposed to get your share. Get your share. Your share. One of the mantras that you can do is Ra Necher, Atif Nefer, which means God's sun rays in nature are gracious to me. A mantra that is designed to draw towards the user the life-giving warmth of the sun and the protective powers of the lower over the lower nature, over the lower self. Ra Necher, Atif Nefer. All right. We are essentially light. That's what we are. All right, that's what we are. Just that simple. The children of the sun. Now it's your time to shine. Christians already told you, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. In this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let that shit shine. Ha ha! Niggas, let that shit shine, niggas. Darkness. All right, so we told you already, 93% of the human body is made of atoms fused in stars and supernovas. The death of a star gives rise to life. All right, So you're a star. Shining star so you can see what it really means to be. The divine spark. 93% of the matter in your body is born in the body of a star. You know the star turns matter itself into energy and light. Agent. Now what turns that is, you know that stars turn matter itself into energy of light? Your body's supposed to turn matter into energy of light, an agent of the electromagnetic force. Light informs us that the world around us and brings its energy. Light is the catalyst in photosynthesis. During this process, the energy of sunlight stored in plants and the seeds transfer us. When we eat these basic foods, or when we get our ass in the primary energy source, which is the sun, and we take in the sun for 1 hour to 3 hours of melanated people, because we are made of stardust powered by sunlight, and this much we know. You talked about the 40,000 tons of cosmic dust fall to the earth, affecting you and me. Up to 300,000 tons of stardust energy falls. All right, we know this. All right, and so this is how we know that this takes place. You have your cerebral fluids, all right, which is called the oil, but it's called the cerebral fluid, which is called the oil chrism, but it's really is 98% water, right? And this water is approximately 1 molecule different from ocean water, and the other 2% is proteins and peptides. But this amazing CSF contains photons, particles of light, the divine sparks, and it flows up and down our spine. These are the angels that Jacob seen going up and down Jacob's ladder. Oh shit! Now this is how you put the Bible to use. Or that other shit ain't nothing. Out of and into the cerebrum and covers the entire brain, and it flows into the fascia, which is a thin colloidal sheath that is exactly replica of our body outline, including covering the bone. CSF and its photon light particles flow in that fascia as well. We literally indeed have a light body, a body of light, and I have pieced this together. All right, so this is talking about from Talmud Nagina, right? And this is what we're talking about. Hell, you came in as a light body. Look at that light around that sperm head. And if you don't know, that's a lightning bug, a firefly right there to the right. All right. One of the techniques that can help you transform into a body of light. Imagine yourself as a pebble being dropped in a pond, and the ripples effects radiating outward from you in an even greater circle. This method expands the auric field into a disc, like a UFO. It resembles a galaxy observed sideways. Now imagine yourself in space being dropped into an etheric sea at the speed of thought, 24 billion miles per second, or 24 frames per second. The vibration of such a drop sends forth trembles, all right, of cosmic wave that ripples the universe. Begin humming, a buzzing sound like a hummingbird, bee, drone, bumblebee, fly, mosquito, or net that tunes all light inward, making the hum come outside of your body to inside of the body. And this is done until you feel the whole body vibrate, illuminating the 8 auric and chakra points of nose. This is coming from Science of Healing by Imam Isa al-Hati al-Mati. So we know that our brains are changeable, and we know that our bodies are changeable. All right. Remember, 1/3 of all healing occurs without having to do anything other than having a positive thought. All right. We told you that. Bruce Lipton already broke that down. So when you think positive thoughts, we release chemicals into our bodies. When we think negative thoughts, we release negative chemicals into our bodies. Da-da. So in order to obtain a rainbow body, one has to liberate their bodies into light by only having loving thoughts. The monks say that the secret to this state is to only have loving thoughts for 13 to 60 years. 13 to 60 years, y'all. So that's the key. That's the key. All right. Well, we're going to end that right there. Hopefully y'all got something. Continue now for days, weeks, months, and years to come. We're moving towards our most cherished goals of health, life, wellness, better economic condition, and full contentment. Every action, enterprise, and endeavor in which we wish to be involved is bringing increasing rewards. We have so much abundance and success that we're able to help and share with those who are sincere along the way, and we're moving closer towards the oneness of God and Goddess and a full release of our higher inner selves. And we are out.
Identity, I feel like he who stepped, architect like Imhotep. Son had the sun himself, the God depth with the art. I spit darts with a slit heart. You can feel it in your bone marrow before the shit starts. Standing in the cold with a scroll that was written in gold. Behold an old glimpse that was never untold. Infinite like the 8-7 dwelling in your melon. No felon, though the unrighteous say that I'm rebellious. I'm fine with my rhyme suicidal. I worship no idols. My style of the gems going down in the spiral. You stuck in your room. My intelligence past my proof. The God is the truth. Every time I step in the booth, you stepped on the stoop. Got spooked and swooped in my loop. Due to knowledge, whacking seeds get played like flu. And it's the son of the star, a gift from the God. The moon flying through the sky with golden waves, submerged into the light, knighted by the golden king with the scepter of justice. Melanin cultivating change till we are victorious, finally becoming one with the righteous sun. So raw, souls are raw, magnificent glow, unconditional love, scattered rays today from the heavens above. So below, the soul trapped in the lowest flesh of hell, incarnated into 76 trillion cells. To break free, we must be defined, masculine and feminine properties combined.
The devil is the author of confusion. 183,000 religions and religions. Denominations, sects, schisms, and isms. There isn't written in the Bible that Jesus spoke in parables. The scriptures and gospels aren't just historical. Many passages want you to be taken literal. Most of it is allegorical, based on esoteric principles. Baptist versus Methodist, Pentecostal holiness versus Jehovah's Witness, Mormons versus Seventh-day Adventists, skeptics, atheists, and agnostics, divided contra tactics of the reptilians, or dimensional aliens. So beware the draconians, Satanists, though their aims to imprison on true beings through ignorance. Though we crush the head of Leviathan, Babylon controls the rules, suggestions, brainwashing indoctrinations, using religious, politics, education, economics, health, and labor, entertainment, of war, or sex and war. In this chessboard game, full like these all been pawns. Purpose on streams controlled by demonic spawns. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with God. You can't run with the devil and walk with